Another Blue Box episode, episode 3. I'm very, very excited. I loved the last episode. I thought the last episode was incredible. It was so much fun. Maybe the episode itself wasn't so great. No, the episode itself was really good, but I had a lot of fun. It was so enjoyable. As some of you have said, it's not going to get as trashy as almost I think I was hoping, but there's still some elements of that could sneak through. So I'm intrigued to see that. We end off with Hina likely feeling some sort of way, but probably not wanting to admit it to herself or to others, with having Chinatsu show up and having her walk with some other dude and having Taiki feel some sort of way towards that, of course, because he ends up seeing it. So what will happen? Will they all go home? Will they get caught this episode? Will there be something brewing between the two of them that gets him kind of jealous and exposes some parts of him? Will there be nothing, but he still feels that sort of way, and ends up getting him jealous and feeling some sort of way too? So I don't know. Maybe nothing entirely at all. They're just walking. They're just friends, you know? But maybe he doesn't feel a way either. Maybe he's like smart enough to recognize that some people can just be friends. You know, maybe they don't have ulterior motives. Who knows? We'll see though what he actually goes for. I'm very excited to find out. Hopefully you guys like. If you like it all, like and subscribe to the Monster. If you have free to stick around for the discussion, leave comments for this episode of series. Let's get going. Episode 3. Right. You can't. Gotta be. Come on, buddy. Come on. Stop in. Yeah. What are we? What are we then? Yeah. Oh. Again. Oh. 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 Ooh. Yeah, but yeah. Buddy's gonna be in for a rough one this episode, huh? Plus him. He's our year. Yeah, they sit with each other. Or her year. The boy. What if Buddy tries to walk with us? Hey! I was wondering why that was the episode title. Hopefully by the end of the episode he can get close enough to do that. I know, no pushback. She went home without her? Buddy, well I guess you just open it for her, but... because of him too. I think you still would, but at a lower level. He sprinted. Why? I don't want to talk. Oh, bro, just embrace it. Just let it be. Gotta get my mind off of things.
いきなり同居なんてするから勘違いするんだ。まともに戦って勝てる相手じゃないんだし。千夏先輩が誰といようと、何と呼ばれていようと、そんなのいちいち気にしたらキリがない。今はまず目の前の部内戦を。でも地位には反応してしまうかも。先輩は全勝か。そういやどうなったんだよ。千夏先輩と羽生先輩の仲問題は。
Didn't really ask.
二人の仲がどんなであろうと、俺はもう振り回されないって決めた。
Oh, you will. Yeah. Good try, buddy.
いや、俺が先輩ってなんか変な感じするわ。気にしてないし。じゃあなんで厳しい
If you don't care, why you're running away?
そう、こいつ今全勝してんの。
Hey, 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 somebody else has won all their matches. Get him in there.
この後も試合やるし。
This will work as motivation for him when he goes against him too, right?
気にしてないから。最近君たち仲いいよな。
She didn't say that to me.
一緒にいいんじゃん。まあ、席隣だしな。
Buddy, lock in, lock in.
けど、何かに一生懸命な女子っていいよな。
Use this as your motivation. She'll say good things if you end up winning this. Oh. Got fucked.
相手は好きな人とも仲が良くて、もしかしたら同じ人を好きかもしれなくて。
He's not even clear-headed playing this.
自分より目標に近くて、こんな力の差見せつけられたら、どっちも諦めろって言われてるみたいで。今めっちゃ惜しくなかった。くそ、戻るのが遅れた。意識しないとすぐ遅れるんだよな。元気だな。まあ走り込んできたし。いや、なんていうか。
I thought you'd be a bit more. Yeah, I did too. So that wasn't on his mind. He's just not as good, I guess.
確かに千夏先輩のおかげでもっと頑張ろうと思ったけど、千夏先輩を負けた時の言い訳には絶対にしたくないって思うし。
Fair.
千夏先輩のためだけにバドやってるわけじゃないし。
Fair. Good mindset. Wow.
そもそも俺、
Wow.
バド好きだし。
Wow. Nice.
はい。
There's your motivation, brother.
やるって決めたんだ。
Lower the sock. Let it shine.
一歩。お、ナイスレシーブ。けど返される。粘る大輝。一歩。上がった。
He still probably lost though.
惜しかったな。
Yeah.
後半盛り返したのに。でもよかったじゃないか。羽生先輩には負けたけど、戦績的にメンバー入りはできそうだ。
I also like the idea that he was focused on what's going on, and every glimpse that we got of her was her almost being distracted on the things she's doing. Like the reverse of almost what you thought would be the case.
やっぱ悔しい。
That's good that you're not content with that.
出るけど、生意気なやつめ。悔しいなこっちだってな。なんで？お前が勝ったのに。だって最後。気になるじゃん。おい。
I don't know what he means by that. I have a few guesses. I guess we'll talk about them later.
ついてきて。千夏先輩？日暮れちゃうよ。ほら早く。ってどこに行くんですか？
Let's follow, brother.
いいとこ。じゃーん。見て、借りてきたの。なんで先輩？
You said you were gonna fucking play with her. Yeah.
覚えててくれたんだ。
それに、大輝くんもっと練習したいかなって思って。
After you got your ass kicked today.
とかが一番やる気出るし、大輝くんもそうかなって。
I think most people were. Whenever I played things, I was the same way. The moment like something ended, especially if you lost, that's like when you're at your peak of like, I want to get better. Oh, she's not very good. I don't think this is gonna help me.
違うの、サーブだけ苦手なの。
左手動かしすぎなんですよ。左手は落とすだけでラケットを持っていく感じ。
おお、さすがバド部。
驚きすぎですよ。
見てたよ。羽生くんとの試合。
記憶から消してください。
なんで？
恥ずかしいじゃないですか。負けたのに。
そんなことないよ。最後の方とかスマッシュも決めてたじゃん。
Who was watching it?
それに2ゲーム目のインターバルの時は11対4だったのに、そこから21点になるまで羽生くんが10点取る間に大輝くんは11点取
Yeah,
ってる
so you were up at the second half, buddy. Oh, she got you.
負けは負けなんで。に笑ってるんですか。
ごめんごめん。大輝くんってほんと負けず嫌いだね。
Hmm.
上半身で打つな。もっと足使え。
はい。
部活で何か指摘されたら朝練でずっとその練習してるし、羽生くんとの試合だって最後まで諦めなかったから後半点が取れたわけで、だから大丈夫だよ。大輝くんなら大丈夫だよ。
実力不足の俺にとって自分を信じるなんてことは超難問だけど。
But if she says it, I'll take it.
足
好きな人の言葉はこんなに簡単に信じれる。
Mm.
チー、まさか羽生先輩チーをプレゼントまで。
I don't think so. I don't think so.
クラスの友達にもらったの。クラスの方ではチーって呼ばれてて。
Oh, everyone does. All right, we're good. Who started it?
先帰っててください。ほら、道中人通りも多いし、それに先輩は気にしてないかもしれないけど、女子と同じ家に帰るのって結構照れくさいんで。俺は素振りでもしてますから。
I wonder how she feels about that. I feel like she's not cool with that, but
知れないか。そう見えるんだ。
Also the idea that he's been thinking about it.
なんで
Why is he my
俺
partner?
と羽生先輩がダブルス
Who assigned that?
これから打倒羽生先輩って
No, because now next year you guys are gonna be like unreal, you know? All right, buddy. You're gonna be a downer about everything.
俺は大輝
You what?
練習するぞ。
Say that again?
あ、
He heard that for sure.
俺の考えたメニューをやってもらうから。
よかった。今の聞かれてなかったみたいだな。
No, he
そ
did.
れで
I
夏のこと好きなの？
love it. Maybe he'll just turn into the boy, you know? Maybe he's a good dude. Maybe he doesn't feel that way. And it's what he said. He just respects him. Or respects her.
さすがに疲れたか？しんどかったら言えよ。倒れられても困るし。
は
けど、チーが弱音吐いてるところは見たことないよな。
I fuck with him.
さぞかっこいいやつなんだろうな。
I fuck with it.
次は何をし
Unless it's coming from like a weird place, you know? But I don't feel that way yet.
机から入った猫みたい。
栄養はなさそうだな。
うるさい。
先輩がこんなに世話を焼くなんて。ペアとはいえ人は人ってイメージだったし。
He's just torturing
羽
you.
生先輩って前に千夏先輩と一緒に帰ってた人だよね。ってことは俺の好きな人に手を出すなっていう牽制なんじゃ。
君とは住む世界
格の違いを見せることで諦めさせようと。
Hmm.
格の違いは感じるよ。
In every sort of way.
ないし、ショットも正確でさ。あんだけ基礎力あってバドやったら楽しいんだろうな。
バドバカ。
ド M。
悪口だろ。
大輝、なんで今クロス打った？相手はバックで構えてたし、ストレートの方が球速も落ちないんだから。体勢きつくてもストレートに打つところだろう。
Well, I don't know. I don't play
自分
doubles.
が楽だからって打ってると一生そのままだぞ。
はい。
Mm.
もう生き延びた。
戦場か。
He exaggerates too
いっ
much.
ぱいやりてえ。
ジュースな。
She just waiting for us. Oh, he is. All right.
お疲
Oh
れ。
no, she's here.
お疲れ様です。2年の先輩たちと千夏先輩。
Hey, join us.
とダブルス組むことになってさ。
え、ここで俺の話すんの
？1年なんだけど、全然ダメでさ。
He's what? Or are we fishing for compliments? Because, you know, she's nice.
って攻めに行っては自爆してさ。
事実だから言い返せね
けど、
It works hard.
強くなると思う。
Oh, sweet.
こいつ、俺がいじめても全然めげねえの。これは無理かなっていうちょい多めのメニューやらせても最後までやりきるし。
少しは期待してもらえてたんだ。
どうでもいいやつは基本無視じゃん。何した？え？
That's sweet.
先輩たちに認めてもらえるのも。
That's been acknowledged by anybody, to be fair. But yeah, I get that.
お、彼女から連絡来てたわ。
You're what?
へえ、彼女。ハリウ先輩、彼女いるんですか？
ああ、先週から。
先週？
What? The week you were walking with
好
her?
きだったんだけど、向こうが芸能活動っぽいことしてて、諦めよっかなって思ってたら向こうから告られてさ。
You give up?
かっこいいんだよな。
The fuck was I stressing over?
ちい、この前ありがとな。化粧品とか一人で買いに行きにくくて。
いいよ。
Now we're just gonna clear it all up now? No, that pissed me off. Nah, fuck that.
お前に彼女ができるのはまだかかりそうだな。
余計なお世話だ。
Awesome episode. Really good. They keep doing a lot of just like really awesome things, like things that aren't the most, I guess, unique almost. They're like, they follow tropes and they just do a bunch of shit that we've seen plenty of other times before. But they do it in like a nice, wholesome kind of way almost, which is like nice. Like the little twist on them is slightly different, it feels like, than things that we are almost, or I am at least, used to, I feel like, which is a big old thumbs up from me. I think the portrayal of like nearly everything that they tried to make us go through here was like really smart. The idea that you could be kind of like clouded almost through your feelings of somebody else and then can't get them off your mind, and this thing, like this one instance, can ruin your day entirely and throw you off completely, and then like little rug pull there and just let you know, like, actually that's not the case. He's literally just not as good as Buddy, and he's not even thinking about that in that moment, and he's only focused on what exactly he's doing. But the rest of his day and everything else involved, of course, gets ruined there, and just the general thought processes and stuff that he has, while he has his friend who just will not like see things at the same sort of level that he does, and kind of sees through them a little bit better by suggesting like constantly like more of a clear perspective on everything, being like, dude, they might just be friends, like you're good, relax. Or even just having like a scenario where we end up finding out that his senpai actually has a girlfriend already, and he's been just like going over this thing constantly in his head and not wanting to see it entirely for the fact that they could just be friendly with each other, and just dropping like all these little hints in between that could be the case, but he overlooks it each time, or he tries to justify that that's not the case, but then one other instance of seeing them together or something immediately makes him feel another sort of way, which are all like entirely real emotions, I feel like, that I've been at some other point, or I've seen other people kind of get themselves into those sort of headspaces, which I think is fun. But instead of writing him almost as like the childhood, like not childhood, but like rival in love, essentially, we end up just making him like out to be like a good dude who like looks after, and he's just kind of like training him a bit, and just messing around with him at times too. I don't know, I think it's like nice, simple little things that typically you see get introduced in a lot of series, and you just hope it goes that way, and it never does. That it's just nice to finally see it here. They're just friends, I'm sure they are, right? Thank you, Hina, for Trying your hardest here. How sweet. What? I go to school the next day, and of course they're right there. Well, there's this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and they all connect to each other. But don't worry about those. They are just friends. You can't stop him from feeling that way, and thinking in a negative light that he is. We learn a little bit about Haru being the senpai that we're kind of like looking after, being somebody who's on a complete another level, who's not one of the seniors, but is just kind of the guy, right? He's really fucking good. But Taiki has a chance to be that. Maybe not this year, maybe even this year, but in future years for sure. So you want to kind of get him up there, get him up to speed as much as you can while he's still as young as he is, which is awesome. They're really trying to develop and push for him, which I think is awesome. Chinatsu showing up and being like, dude, I forgot my keys and nobody's gonna be home, or what do I do? He's like, oh, I got you. But wait, and then you hear Chi being called, and you're like, well, yeah, that's not great. That really fucks him and his head up. Unbelievable. Can't even call her that. So she's not here, but she said she was home before him. Did she like go for a walk, or was she just like sitting somewhere else? I don't know. Unless that wasn't the case and it was literally just she didn't want him. Actually, that might not have been the case. She might have just, let me see, actually. I don't know why I'm debating it in my own fucking head when I can just go to the scene. Okay, so she was just envisioning like you didn't want me to sit like this. Okay, I don't know why I thought that she actually did. But whatever. Yeah, he's kind of doing everything he can to be avoidant. Again, it almost feels like because of the things that are going on in his mind that he doesn't really want to see her until he can work out his own feelings and emotions. But they're doing a really interesting thing where we get it again later where she picks up on the idea that he's like kind of viewing things from her perspective and thinking about how maybe she might feel or how she might view things. And once again, we get to see that here where she's viewing him in that sort of way too. So they're both like consciously aware of like how the other person possibly is feeling while not entirely being correct, because I mean, they seemingly are wrong at like every single instance, but at the same time, they're trying to look out for that, which I think is really nice of each of them. It's really sweet that they do care. And it just showcases like on more of a, I think like subtle kind of level of how much that she actually like seemingly probably likes him, unless she's literally just like the nicest person ever, and they're gonna break our hearts in 20 episodes. But for right now, she seemingly seems to be like extremely interested as well and viewing things at the exact sort of level that he is. I've been worried about what I'd be calling her and what other people do, but now that this is happening, immediately I'm good to go. But he still has to get away and clear his head a little bit too. But I need to focus on what's going on, and that's that moment that I was talking about. He needs that moment of peace where he can just separate himself and think out his emotions without having to see her, which is I think like the big problem that he was having, where he's like, it'll be so much easier if like we didn't live together because I'd be able to do this, even though like I think he would still feel a certain way towards her, but it would just be at a lower level because he'd be able to process these things a lot better. So seemingly they are doing exactly what I thought they were going to, where they have everybody go up against each other. I didn't really understand the way that they displayed it last week, but that seems to be the case. And they're going to just kind of gauge records and stuff coming from it. Of course, has to see Haru being with him again. As somebody is bragging about him and the way that he does things. Oh, you've been talking about her a lot. What's going on there? His buddy starts to melt. Something nice about seeing somebody who works so hard. Oh, bro is like, I'm fucking completely destroyed. But you get to see that. It's the same way that he ends up treating Taiki throughout this. It's the same way that he kind of probably thinks of his girlfriend, somebody who's in show business, as he called it, right? It's like people who work and strive extremely hard for the things that they're doing are people that you can look to and you can respect and you can view them as almost equals, similar to if you're doing the exact same thing. He knows how hard he works. So, of course, at a mutual level, you can try and understand and respect somebody at that same sort of pace. I really like this. The animation is extremely well done, in my opinion, for the overall match here. I was intrigued the entire time. I did talk about at the beginning, and I think the first episode, how a lot of times with sports, I don't really care. Like, and I can't really get hype about the matches or anything or care for them. But I didn't feel like that at all throughout this one. So I think that's a good sign so far. So hopefully they do end up keeping that up. But he basically got his ass kicked, at least before the first half. So we end up having this talk where you're under the assumption the entire time that he's thinking of Chinatsu, but he's not, right? He's actually focused on what's going on, and he's more so just disappointed at how sloppy he is and realizing that maybe I'm not as good as, I initially thought I was, or even as him. So I got plenty of work to do, which is like a nice breath of fresh air, right? Usually you would think that you'd be weighed down by that, but not being the case at all. I mean, he literally just has a lot of work to do, which shows you the growth that he needs to be having. And I like the idea of him being like she it definitely helps motivate me to get me to this point. But if I keep utilizing her and the thoughts of her like doing this or whatever's going on between them and everything as some sort of like factor in what's going on here, I'm going to think of her negatively and utilize that as like some sort of thing to blame it on, as opposed to putting the blame on myself and making myself want to work harder, and also making her like look bad for something that she didn't even do or intend to or anything either. So it doesn't really make much sense. I just love the thing I'm doing and I got to work a little harder. But he does get that full reminder here when he sees what she actually gave him and the strong connection and bond that the two of them actually have together, which I think is nice. And I wonder if we're going to utilize that with her at some point, being able to get the like her seeing that on herself and motivating her, or if it's going to be something where he sees it on her and then gets motivated again too, like what exactly that dynamic is going to be. We could also play around with it and she might not even wear it, and then it might like throw him off about their relationship and everything too. That'd be funny. But I don't know. I do wish, one thing with the show that I do wish is we got way more from her perspective. It also could just be because I'm interested in basketball as a sport way more than badminton, but like, so I would like to see that. But also it could be just the lack of almost like things from her perspective. I feel like that would make me more intrigued in seeing what's going on with her and her thought process. Maybe they do switch it up at some other point. But as of right now, that remains to be seen. And I do like the glimpses of her, like looking onwards and seeing what's happening, showing that she is paying attention and like focused on what he's doing, and more glimpses, in my opinion, to indicate towards like her own feelings and, or at least in general interest, at least in him. He got close, which is really nice too. He still lost, still didn't do very good, but at the exact same time, he ended up getting like that extra step in the right direction because he ended up winning over the second half, right? 11-10, which is really, really nice. You hear that? He really likes you. Now I'm the one who's frustrated. Why? Because at the end, and then he just walks away. I don't know his reason. Maybe somebody has an idea. Maybe it's something we'll explore later. He likes to work hard. So maybe he had nobody like to look after him and do that for him. So he's almost like jealous of it and it makes him mad. Or he's saying at the end of the game, he ended up like losing by the back end there. So he ended up falling apart to this guy. So like if it started that way, he probably would have lost. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Like if they only played to 11, he would have ended up losing. You need to build off of this experience and I need to practice harder and do all this, which it's nice that he takes that too. A lot of times people get like discouraged by these things, but instead he becomes way more motivated directly after end up losing. And he focuses a little bit on that, which is what she ends up bringing up too, which is how I've always felt every time that I played sports. Every time things went wrong for me, it wasn't, I just want to get home and not think about that at all and just move past it. It was always like, damn, I want to like get back to it and get better so that this doesn't end up happening again. And that's why like losing sucks, but it also made you work a lot harder so that you didn't have to end up losing, or playing as poor as maybe you were if you were more on like an individual sport, or more of like, I don't care about the team, but more so myself individually. I don't know. This is really sweet in the parallel of them being able to play basketball and use that as like some sort of motivating factor and build between their relationship in general at the beginning. And we end up getting to see that again, where she allows him to recognize and see things that he hasn't before and utilize his sport instead and make do on the promise that they essentially made to do this together, which I think is really sweet and really nice. And I like scenes like this. The over the top one I think works really well because you could just hit it towards the center so that they don't have to like go too crazy and overly animate things of characters running side to side, so you can just have them like hop one to one on the sides, and it worked really well. And it just like looks pretty decent from up above. I still lost, but you wouldn't have. You're doing good. Even during that match, you never gave up. You won in the second half. You're gonna be fine. Just keep working on it. I'll win next time. Don't you worry. And it's easy. It's easy to believe in all those things because, as he says, the person I like says that is the case. So if this person, the person I think would be the hardest to almost prove that to, can give me that sort of praise, the person that everybody told me would be impossible to go out and to get this sort of feeling from, ends up reciprocating that in some sort of way or giving something back to me like that, it's a big step in the right direction, and it makes me a lot more motivated too to feel that way. And you don't want to let that person down. Sees this a little bit. Oh, actually everybody just calls me that in class, and we just slowly clear up like all the misunderstandings that are happening. This is really interesting too. It'd be weird for me, and I don't feel comfortable like the idea of people knowing that we live together and all that still, so I want you to go on my own, and her being like, huh, you see that too. It might not bother you. That's how you see it. She's literally just she doesn't show her emotions as like strong as he does, but they're very similar in a lot of ways. Why is this my doubles partner? What the fuck is going on this? Going to nationals with your romantic rival. Listen, And him overhearing that is so good. So he plays it in a really interesting way. I thought like that they were still possibly, well, I assume that they were friends. Maybe there was like a bit of hint like towards the idea that they could possibly, he could have an interest in her. And if that were to be the case, he could utilize this as like ammo on his own to make him look bad, whether it's overwork him to a point that he has no time but to focus on what they're doing, whether it's when we get into a situation they see them later make him look bad, which he initially started off to, by the way that he ended up framing everything to be, allow himself to like just look better and be better when he's kind of around Taiki, to kind of show off a little bit more, like, and he can really utilize this, and he can hold it like almost over his head a little bit to get him to work harder and use it as like some sort of motivation for themselves and their own goals. But he ends up using it as like a really nice way and like throws him a little lob towards the back end, which I think is really sweet. And using this as like I've never seen her like this. She wouldn't want to be with a guy like this, to kind of piss him off and get him to want to go even harder because he knows it's true too. It was really funny to me. But it's really nice to have somebody who does care enough that wants to put you in that position and sees enough potential in you to make you work even harder, to give you an opportunity to do this. Overall, a good dude, you know, no real complaints or questions there. And pushing him too, like you're going for something that's easy, that works at like the amateur level, buddy, but you're going to find people that it's not going to work against. And especially in a situation like this, you have to improve other aspects too. So focus up on that instead, which I think is nice. And immediately him being able to see him like snap back in, take it and be like, all right, and then just get to work again, being like, huh, like this guy might have it. Walking away like that is crazy. So you see everybody talking in a group, immediately gets like some sort of weird feeling and he drags him in, and then it's like you start bringing up being like he fucking sucks, he's awful, all this. It's like, what is your angle here? What are you doing? But using it as a way to put him down, but then at the same time being like, he's trying though, he's working hard, no matter what I do, no matter what anyone says, no matter what gets in the way, he holds strong and he continues to kind of overcome that and get stronger and better, which is really sweet. Knowing also that's a thing, as somebody who has more of an in with Chinatsu and being friends with her, probably knows that that's the sort of thing that she is interested in too. So her being able to hear that and see that works well. Also, it works as a way that you can put him down and fish for compliments, almost, which she ends up getting here, where she ends up telling him that he's doing good. And I thought that was really cute how she did it too. From the background here, not wanting to say it to anybody, but just kind of like mouthing it to him. I got a girlfriend, by the way. Huh? You got a what? Thought things weren't gonna work, and then all of a sudden they ended up doing, and then finding out that they were actually just spending time together and doing all this shit just because he needed some help, and she's the first one that he was able to turn to. Is crazy. Fun episode, cute episode, excited for more. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you liked it all, like and subscribe. Mine's for me, feel free to check out the channel, comments of this episode or series. I'll be back for episode 4 next week. It was a great one. Peace.